Hey everybody, Supercar Street Racing here. Took a little bit of a break. I know you guys noticed if you watch the channel that I've been gone for quite a while. Had some personal things going on in my life that I needed to take care of, and so I took a small break. I actually toyed around with the idea of doing SpaceX related content, but there's so many other channels out there that do this already that I decided probably wasn't going to do that, and I was going to actually live stream SpaceX launches with commentary behind them and all that. That is not going to happen now, but I did want to get back to the channel, maybe start posting some updates. Car needs a couple things and had just a couple things done, so I will talk about that here shortly. But also I think the channel is going to be renamed back to what it was again, because I'm going to hopefully get some car content going, so I hope you guys stick around for that. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of update over what's going on with the car right now. So also shooting an 8K video for the first time and hopefully editing in 8K, but not sure what Premiere can handle. But the car does have new wheels, and I believe that was featured on the old channel. And so looking good with the new matte black powder coated wheels here. And other than that, the car hasn't given me any issues except for the radiator. Now, those of you who know BMW know that the radiator is plastic, and there is a history of those things cracking because this car is 11 years old. So decided, had a few weeks left on my factory warranty, decided to go ahead and pony up and get the Mishimoto. So as you can see where the coolant was leaking there, but that's is a Mishimoto radiator in there. Waiting for one hose that was back ordered for 7 days that they patched together, but the car does have an aftermarket radiator. No other modifications have been made to the car except that. In the next couple of weeks I'll be ordering the digital ID4 display, which replaces the analog gauges here and is programmable. But for now, what I'd like to do is concentrate on what today's task is, and that is I want to get all this chrome trim here, or polish trim, or whatever you want to call it, metal trim, to matte black. So what we're going to do is go through the process of how you do trim. It's different from emblems because you on emblems you just, and these lights even, you just spray all the way around them with a big square and peel them off. Well, these guys you have to tape off, and then you have to spray a wet coat after you've got about 3 coats on it, and then peel your tape while it's still wet. What happens is the Plastidip on top kind of softens the stuff on the bottom, and then it allows you to get a sharp line. Otherwise, you start peeling dry with a tape, you're going to pull all the Plastidip off. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean this stuff. So I'll get back to you with that. So I've just got some Windex here and a standard, what do we call it, soft cloth used for cleaning the car. I'm going to go ahead and clean all this trim up just like this, just to get all the exterior dirt off. You can see here how difficult this is going to be to get right under here. That's going to be fun. But see this cleaning job here, and you notice on the back we have this long strip here. It's got some black stuff on it. I'm going to do my best to get it off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the whole car, and I'll get back to you guys after that's done. Okay, so I cleaned the entire trim here all the way around the car. Even though there's still some black right there, I can't seem to get that out, so I hope that isn't an issue. Plastidip is usually pretty resilient and it will stick to almost anything. So I got that all cleaned off. So the next thing you have to do now is tape off the trim and mask off the car. Otherwise you're going to have Plastidip overspray everywhere. Now it will come off, but I don't recommend that that's something you do, is try to do that and take it off. Go ahead and cover the car up, mask it off with plastic, and I've got some 3M blue tape to facilitate that, and I also have a painter's tarp, and I'm going to use sheets for the inside of the car. Now this is a 2-step process. There's trim here, and then when I put the top up, there's going to be more trim that's going to be all the way around this back part here that we're going to have to do, and up on the window. It's going to be a 2-part step. Each step needs about 3 to 4 coats, and they take 20 minutes each, so this is going to take a while. So I'm going to go ahead and start the masking process, and I'll get back to you guys. Car had to go by, of course, but we're back with a little update. So I just want you to be prepared that this prep process is very time consuming. And I know why I started doing this one time and then quit. Now the other problem I'm having is, of course, this tape sticks to literally nothing. It doesn't even stick to itself, as you can see here. So you're going to have to do your best to get everything taped and hope that your tape actually sticks. Mine does not, and that's becoming a huge problem. So what I've done here is I've got some sheets on top of the car like this. I'm going to tape around, and then down at the bottom I'm going to be doing this plastic drop cloth. I'm going to work on that, and I'll see you guys shortly. Alright, so a little update for you guys. So I've got most of the top taped off, except where you can see here the tape does not stick to anything. It literally will not stick. It sucks. But I wanted to give you an update on how I see this happening. And you notice here, again, the tape is not sticking to anything. So before I hit that coat, I'm going to have to go around and push everything back. But here's what I did. On this side, I tried doing it without rolling the windows up. And I wanted to do a little experiment on this side and see if I should roll the windows up. And then I figured out it's hard to get in these seams where the trim rubber is. But then I had this idea to take my little trim removal tool here and just kind of push it into the cracks. It works so much better than trying to, like, originally I was trying to get the tape into that seam. This just absolutely destroys that. So I use this little trim removal tool and I just push it down in the edges there. And anywhere it's like extra, if you can just like push it in there. Now don't forget, this is all going to be in view. If you have tape lines, you're going to see them right here, and then actually you probably can go up this way too to tuck it under. It works awesome. Can't believe I didn't think of this beforehand. But you see, like right here where the edges go in there, I mean, there's a little bit of a gap right there. Hopefully you don't see that. I'm really trying to get that fixed. But now the issue I have is that the tape is all coming up, and hopefully it sticks right here where it matters most. But yeah, you see here like where the edges are. If I run this up, it should tuck the tape underneath there. This is a hard area right here. It's not sticking to anything like up here. Hoping that this just will stick long enough for me to spray the car, but I still have to do the bottom masking, and I've got the plastic ready for that. So I'm going to first finish this side up here and around this mirror, and then I'm going to start masking off with plastic. Alright, no, yeah, I agree. This is the most cluster FS I've ever seen in my L. I mean, life isn't even a curse word, but... So, this stuff here, you want to shake it for like 1 minute straight. Get some practice on other stuff. And then I'm going to show you guys how to start this process. Get all your tools out of the way like I didn't. Those over here. Oh, oops. Well, I guess I just lost some scissors because they fell into the tray. So shake that for like 60 seconds and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so very important with this Plastidip, even though this isn't legit Plastidip, it's Rust-Oleum, is that your first spray, and sorry I'm working with one hand here, your first spray needs to be out in the open to clear. This is every time you start a new coat, out in the open, spray it to clear the nozzle, and then run your fingernail over it too if you've already done a coat so that you clear it out, and then you can start your first coat. So this is like me ruining my car. Okay, so first coat is light. It may not seem light from what I'm doing, but it is, trust me. And if you miss some spots, it's cool. And like under the mirrors here, this is a difficult spot, so nobody can see it, but you still have to paint it. And so check this out. So Watch this. So, you know, it's not going to be completely covered the first try. And don't forget, you're going on an angle, so you got to do the angles too. Otherwise, somebody will see the top and the bottom. So do the angles. And if you're properly masked, you won't see this. And so just, you know, I mean, you're on kind of a flat surface, so it's not going to run, hopefully. But you got to remember that first coat is just, and look, the tape is coming up as I speak. That first coat is just that, first coat. So if you don't cover everything, don't worry about it. Just be like, go easy on it. And I brought 2 cans. I don't know if that's going to do it. But notice how I'm like accepting the fact that it might not get covered. Now you have like a little bit of leeway on flat areas because it's not going to run. So this, you can probably get a little bit more generous on your coatage. Is that a word? So this is how I'm going to do the rest of this coat. And it's really hard with one hand, so I'm about to stop the video. But you guys get the idea. Make sure you're going on all the angles. Remember, this can be seen from every angle. So you need to be like thorough on your... See how I'm cutting at this from every angle? Sorry. Alright, so at some point my video cut off, so I'm just trying to tell you guys that you want to get all angles. So see the bottom here, where you can see the edge? People can see that, so you want to get from up here, and I know my camera keeps tracking off in the distance, and you also want to get from down here. So get the top edge, and then the bottom edge. Beware of drips, but at the same time, you got to get these edges. See how that covered that whole edge there? Don't go too crazy on your first coat. Your second and third coats will stick more. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, you see how that isn't covered on the underside edge? With that, like this. If you got any issues later, you can always touch it up. But look, see that? You got to get that edge. And then underneath here, where people can or can't see, you still got to get that. And then cover this top edge. See that? I know my camera, it's really difficult because it's such a small field of view. But that's the first coat, and I can already see where we missed this edge. So come back and get that whole entire edge on the bottom. If you don't, people will see it. They're going to be calling you out on your work, and they're going to call me and be like, dude, what happened? All right, we'll be back with the second update. Let this dry for 20 minutes. All right, guys, so the timer just went off. Evidence. So we're headed outside to the garage to do coat number 2. Always remember, like, on your second coat. So the goop can get caught in the nozzle. So scrape that with your fingernail. Shake it a little bit. Walk outside. Give it a good spray. Start coat number 2. Oh, coat number 1 looks so good. So let's start number 2. Coat number 2 can be a little bit more thick. Just remember, like, when you do this coat, to get the bottom edge and the top edge. Even in the places you can't see, because your passengers can see it. So let's start with coat number 2, and I'll get back to you guys for coat number 3. All right, guys, so the last coat is about to go on. So this is the 4th coat, and this coat is spray and then pull the tape while it's wet. So I'm about to do that. So it's a 4th coat. It looks amazing. I'm hoping like it stays amazing. If anything weird happens, I guess lesson learned, and it'll go on my channel, and that's just what happens. So many golf carts in my neighborhood. All right, so I'm about to do the 4th coat and then peel. All right, so I just finished pulling the tape and issues. So overspray right there, and I'll let you decide. Yeah, so that just came right off. So I gotta fix that. It literally peeled right off of there. I don't know if I'll be able to fix that properly, but I'm gonna try. Right there. Issues. 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 Overspray. Overspray. Now, mind you, this will come off, all this overspray, but these little mist spots will not. Mist spot right there. Overspray. Overspray, even though I masked. So I'm about to work on that, and then I will work on fixing the issues that didn't get covered. All right, so I just got done touching up all the spots that I thought had issues, but I'm sure I'll find more as the days go on. But here's a good look at what, some of it's still wet, by the way, and I see right there I got an issue. I'm gonna have to fix that. And right there, so those are still bad. The problem is once you have an issue, it's hard to cover that up with a fix. And clearly on camera you can see that there's some kind of white spots there, and I guess I can work on that later. But as you can see, like, okay, there's also an overspray right here, but that'll come off. It comes off easily. Overall, I mean, that look is 1,000 times better than the look with the metal trim. But I still have to do the whole top of this once the top closes. So I'm gonna let that dry overnight, and then I've got another probably 2 hours to do that, and then I still have issues after that. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. Gonna have to see what happens after I'm totally done to see if it's obvious. And I'm a stickler for perfection, so I hate these little metal edges showing and all that. So I'm gonna continue this tomorrow with the second part, which is when the roof is up, and I'll see you guys then. All right, it's the next morning. Went ahead and put the top up. I drove around last night. There's some imperfections I need to fix that we'll do later. But now you can see with the top up, now I have to finish the rest of this enjoyment. So I'm gonna start taping this off right now, and I will update you guys as I get closer to being ready to do this. All right, I got some music playing. Hopefully you don't get immediately copyright struck and demonetized because it's playing pretty low, but I got one side taped up here. As you can see, it's super fun. It takes forever, and yes, I did it, and there you go. I'm gonna work on the other side now. Just a little update. I kind of wanted to show you guys this tape that I'm using. It is number 2098 multi-surface. I've never used it before this, and I bought it by accident. And it's almost like plastic. I really like it. The only problem I have with all these absolutely ridiculous tapes is that none of them stick. They don't even stick to walls. Like, I've done this 100 times. I've painted 100 times in my house, and this stuff, literally you put it up and it peels off the wall 5 seconds later. But yeah, this is like a plastic type tape. So give that a try if you ever need to tape something off like this. It really works pretty good, except for the fact that it doesn't stick to anything. All right, so we are done prepping for the second round of trim, and see a little gap already right there I need to fix, but you can see I just used plastic and sheets, old bed sheets, but we're ready to start painting, and you already know how that goes. So remember a few things about Plastidip. If it's cold where you live, make sure you pre-warm the can up. Just run it under some warm water for a little bit. Also, on your first spray, make sure you spray away from where you're actually going to be spraying, so you clear the tip of the can. And 15 minutes between recoats, 4 coats total. Your first coat is light, your 3 coats after that are heavy. And make sure you shake the can very well. So this is a brand new can here. Shake it good for about 1 minute, and if it's cold, which this one is not, it's been sitting in the garage, then make sure you warm it up. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start. All right, guys, well, we are on the 4th and final coat, and this is the coat where it goes on wet, and then you peel while it's still wet. So if you don't do that when you start peeling, if it dries, you will take the Plastidip right off the trim. The only time you peel when Plastidip is completely dry is if you're doing logos or lights or anything like that. You make a square around them with tape, and then you peel dry, and it will peel off around the edges of the emblems or the lights. With trim and with tape, you have to do it while it's wet. So if you've tried it and you've had bad luck, that's why. So I'm going to put a wet coat on here and start peeling. All right, everybody, so I just got done peeling this tape, and I had some issues, unfortunately, that I'm going to have to fix. It did start peeling the Plastidip in a couple of areas, and it does not look good, so I'm going to have to redo this little part here. I don't know if you guys can see, but it started coming off about right there in some places, and that's probably out of focus, but I'm going to work on that real quick and get back to you. So I just got done with the touch-ups, and have to say it came out good. I don't think I've ever spent this much time on a project on this car. It was relentless, but you can see here it was worth it. Now I just have to say one other thing. There is overspray. It will come off, but even taping everything off, I got overspray on the car, and that will come off pretty easily, and it'll wear off over time. But if you just get like a soft cloth and some detail spray, it will come right off. But just in the process of peeling the tape off, just remember when you do your touch-ups here, you want to peel your tape wet on your touch-ups. So any place you missed, tape it off, spray it, and the second you're done spraying it, peel your tape off. Now I didn't have to do that up here because this has a real big edge underneath the trim here, so the tape doesn't actually touch the Plastidip. But anywhere that the tape is touching the Plastidip, you always want to peel that wet if you're touching up or on your last coat. Had some issues, of course, with mine on my last coat. I don't think I put wet enough coat on for the very last one, but that's it. Car is completely blacked out now. No chrome at all. I did all the lights, all the trim, the rear valence, the emblem in the back, the front grille, and that is that for this project. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something on the way.